You're listening to the Devil Dog Talk Show.
This show contains explicit material and is recommended for ages 18 and older for mature audiences only. But hey, it's the internet.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Devil Dog Talk Show. Today we have Jefferson Jay, author of The Hunt for the Holiday Spirit. And we're excited to bring him to you, our audience, our global audience who loves us so much, who supports us amazingly, right? I got excited because when Jefferson sent over his book details, the Eventbrite event that's going on and everything else that's going on, I fell in love with it. It really spoke to the heartstrings. It really got me excited for Christmas. Of course, the holiday spirit indeed. And so here we are. How you doing today, Jefferson?
Doing awesome. Thrilled to be here with you. Thanks for reaching out. Delighted to talk about my new book and whatever else comes up organically. Thanks for doing this show and for all you've done and for your service.
I appreciate that. I really do, man. It's a great day, to hear people, actually communicating, that very important thing that we all agree with is service. And you're doing that, man. You're continuing service in the sense of maybe not in the military like I did myself, but you're really helping, I want to say disadvantaged youth. Okay. And I hate the word disability because then we get cloudy about stuff. But the fact that you guys are creating the show, the book and everything else that you guys are doing around these dynamic personalities, which are human beings who I know I was like, what is that? The human beings that are genuinely in need of a vent, that connection to society. So I'm very interested. How did you start the concept of the book?
I was getting my master's degree in history at San Diego State, and I needed a job, so I started substitute teaching in the San Diego Unified School District. I had no seniority, so you take whatever jobs you can get, and the jobs that were most available were in special education, so I snapped those up, and in a short amount of time, I got comfortable in that environment with the youngsters and high school kids. And most of the troubles they had were that they were high school kids more than that. They were in special education classrooms, and not easy being a high school kid. And I started to make connections with our students in music. And then I went to do music therapy at a day center in El Cajon. I was having great rapport with the people there. So they said, how would you like to write and direct the holiday show? I jumped out of my seat. My high school theater background still stays with me very closely, and the opportunity to pay it forward to these guys and the show. I did auditions. We did the first episode. I wrote it, and that's what our book actually is now. It's the first episode, our brand new children's book, and it went amazing. It helped so many of our actors come out of their shells and expand on their talents and build their confidence. It helped their peers and their families who were able to watch them perform feel like part of something special and something that was made for them. The executive director of the nonprofit was up there with tears coming out of her eyes after. It was very moving. And I went home and I wrote 7 more episodes, a lot like the first one, building on our characters and giving them more life and more of a story. And this kind of pattern repeated for 3 more years. When it was done, I had directed 4 episodes of The Hunt for the Holiday Spirit and written 24, a full series, 3 seasons, 8 each. And then I kind of went off on my own. I started a company called The Good Vibe, and we began to develop The Hunt for the Holiday Spirit as the first fully inclusive animated series, fully inclusive scripted series. And it's been a wonderful ride for these years since then. And then we have some samples. Our YouTube channel is at The Hunt for the Holiday Spirit, and we have our samples that we've made on there, including the animatic of our first episode. And earlier this year, I decided I was going to write a children's book to go along with that and have some merch and a product and build out our characters' universe even more. It's going to be finished. It's at the printer right now. We're pre-selling copies on Eventbrite, and I couldn't be happier with it. Our animator is also our illustrator, Andres Cortez, and he did an incredible job. So I'm super jazzed. I'm a book salesman now, and I never expected to be I'm Barnes and Noble right here on your show, Devil Dog talking with you, Joey. So it's an honor, a thrill, and I think the movement for inclusivity needs an outreach arm. A lot of people are doing incredible things for people with disabilities. I don't like that word either. I mean, our whole purpose of our show is to showcase people's abilities and to show that people can sing and dance and bring the good vibe and lift people up just with their nature, with authenticity. So we're sharing this gift with the world, getting everybody involved in the discussion. There's 1.2 billion people worldwide currently identifying as disabled until they come up with a better term that everyone can agree on. And they deserve they belong in the discussion, and everybody should have a voice at the table. So one show after all these years, in our case, a holiday classic animated series a la Rudolph, Frosty, and the Grinch, seems like a great starting point to get everybody awakened to the fact that this group of people, like every other group of people, has all kinds of incredible perspectives and insights and profound gratitude and appreciation and optimism, a lot of things that I think the whole world could benefit from. So why don't we celebrate that every year at the holiday season, sit down like we did in the old days and watch some shows with the family and feel good, feel special, feel love.
That's profound, man, because you're, to me personally, being a person that, I would say I'm differently abled, right? And that's the complex relationship between society and those who have medical conditions, whether it be a disability where you have to work a certain way or live a certain way. I understand the disconnect, right? I remember being in the military where the last thing you wanted to be or look like was anything that needed a medical support or needed support, right? Working with Marines, working with sailors. That was the complication of the culture. But getting out, I see just exactly what you said, becoming that arm, becoming that platform where people can come in, connect with an open heart, open mind, and have open conversations like we're doing today. It's very amazing that you're doing what you're doing, especially for the kids, because to me, I'm a grown man and I have difficulties as a man, okay? A 40-year-old man, a combat veteran, all this great stuff. And I buckle underneath the pressure of these stigmas, these titles, and, the perspectives that I want to call normies, but everybody's got a weird thing. Okay. That's the real truth.
100%.
And if we want to look at each other like we're either normal or abnormal, then we have to really kind of set a foundation on what's that mean? And today's world, I don't think it's a place to put limits on anything or anybody. We need solutions desperately. Exactly what you said. We need to be aware of opportunities. We need to be aware of entertainment and engagement, like what you're creating for the community. And that's something that I support 100%. Now, I'm very eager to discuss further. How do we get involved with the Eventbrite, and how does that work out? Do we just log on and we could get the book, or is there something else we have to do?
No, you could go to thegoodvibe.com. That's my parent company for all the stuff. Also, the huntfortheholidayspirit.com. Even though we're selling the books pre-sale on Eventbrite, it's not actually an event. It's we're just using Eventbrite as our platform to sell the books. And so it says the event is like December 14th or whatever, but that's just about when I'm going to have the books in hand. And then it will go from being a pre-sale to an actual sale. And that's probably the easiest way to do it. I want to touch back on something you said a moment ago briefly about being differently abled. I like that term. And here's why. Everybody is differently abled. And there is no normal. You'll never find normal. And every day our world gets deeper down this road and we evolve more. We're always evolving. Normal becomes even more extinct. But different, everyone's different. Everyone has different abilities. And in that sense, and so many others, we're all one. We're all one. We're humans and we all have different abilities. And that's why everybody participating in life, especially on our screens where we take our cues from and in entertainment, it's essential. If we're only listening to, our leaders who aren't always leading in a way that is resonating with everybody, thank God.
I agree with you so much on that.
Yeah, we need to be the leaders, and we need to start leading by listening to everybody and hearing what they have to say. If we ever assume that somebody doesn't have a good thing to say just at a glance or because we think we know better, then we're the ones who are disabling ourselves, not to use it in the same context as it's normally used. Like, we are the ones who are limiting our own abilities to appreciate and enjoy life as much as we possibly can.
I agree with you so much. I do believe that society is in for a great awakening, right? A realization, this kind of, I believe the word is, peripetia and anagnorisis. I'm pretty positive, kind of positive. But the goal is to create this cathartic release of information where exactly what you're saying. We come together, we have the conversations, we do the thing that adults are supposed to do, which is even if it's uncomfortable, like what you're saying, because people do judge. And that's something that, I've lived through. And it hurts to see people judge children, right? Everybody's special in their own unique way. Believe it or not, there's 8 billion plus of us, I think, at this point, and everybody has 1,000 different perspectives at any given time. So these universes of representation, right? Like Marvel and everybody else, it's hard for a child to see that it's okay to be different and that unique special difference is their identity. It might include different flavors and seasonings, right? But the core of who we are, exactly what you said. We're human beings. We're a species. And we have to work together. That is beautiful. So when you guys do the book release on December 14th, we can keep ordering the books, correct? And
Yeah, I think I'll just make an adjustment on Eventbrite. Also, I'll upload it to Amazon, where I think a lot of people are buying their books. But I haven't done that yet because I'm doing it the old fashioned way. I like old fashioned stuff. So we're printing the book. It'll look all nice. It's Dr. Seuss, esque. He's from down here in Southern California. There's rhyming, 32 pages of rhymes and beautiful illustrations. Our actors all have, different abilities, but our characters do also. We don't explicitly talk about that much, but the magic snow woman is in a wheelchair. You ever wonder why there's never been a snow woman in any show ever? I wonder that. Why is it always a snowman? That's what she says that. She goes, how do you think all the snow babies got born? Snowmen? I don't think so. So,
I love that. I love that, dude. That is such that's such a solid point. You're right. Like, honestly, there'd probably be a lot more fun to make, coming from a man's perspective. All right. And then when you look at it, you're right, that representation. And it doesn't mean that we're excluding people. It doesn't mean that, oh, you have to be this. This is the reason why I was so glad to connect with you. I mean, really, because in the depth of humanity and servitude, you're doing exactly what I'm doing in the sense for my community, for this community. And you're pointing out these ridiculous standards or normatives, because I don't believe people do it out of malice. I believe they do it out of habit, right? If we could educate and discuss how differently abled persons or identities can fill roles and perform the same role, much like your actors and characters in the animation and book, to be something that we're not just trying, we're doing the thing that we're saying. We're connecting people. We're elevating their voices. We're amplifying their voices. We're giving them a platform. We're saying, hey guys, guess what? The Double Doc Talk Show, we welcome everybody. And the goal here is to make sure that we are walking that path that we're destined to walk, whether it's something that is good or bad, right? If it's difficult, if there's adversity, that's normal. When we rise to the challenge, when things get uncomfortable, all right, that's usually when the best stuff happens, right? When you're right at the edge between I'm terrified and I can't do this and man, I really want to do this. I've noticed that that's the path you need to be on. And I can't help but support it even more so, because not as just, like I said earlier, man, seeing children, okay, being involved, being the target audience, being that stage center highlighted performer where they get to understand, dude, just because people are different, it doesn't mean they think any less or feel any less. And I think that's the most important thing. If we could understand that our emotions, they're emotions, but our actions don't need to be dictated by that. We can say, hey, this is a child in need. This is what they have. This is their condition. All right. That's okay. But we don't need to say they'll never be ... or that won't work for them because ... And here's the fear. I know that the majority of these people do not judge. They just have a fear of protection. They're like, no, we don't want people to be exploited. We don't want people taken advantage of. And I agree with that. But that's
Me too. I'm worried about that sometimes.
Yes. And that's the reason why I'm so glad with ADAX Entertainment and everything we're building with the Devil Dog Talk Show that we're leading that way. We're not here to exploit. We're here to elevate. And I think that's the most beautiful thing to really, to look at, observe, and understand, because I guarantee you this first event, the first book, all these firsts for everybody, it's going to be an absolute highlight of life. Right. I've been there before where things don't work out and then finally they work out. And I do understand that what you guys have going, the momentum, the effort, and everything you have within the commitment of that authentic, there you go, storytelling, where you're able to leverage reality and insert actuality within a narrative. So it's not this forced thought, don't get me wrong. Drake played a disabled person, all right, long time ago on the Disney Channel before he was super famous. He was in the wheelchair, right? And I'm not against people playing roles that are not themselves, right? I've seen, what was his, Robert Downey Jr. play a black man on, Tropic Thunder. Great movie, great performance, okay? But when we see these differently abled persons only in specific roles, we limit ourselves. There's gentlemen that I look up to. He's an absolute class act inspiration. Can't tell you his name, but I always see him on the line, he has Down syndrome and he became a lawyer. Now to me, that's that motivation. That's the reason why I served our country, to see people put themselves out there and try something, anything, because they deserve it. They have earned it. And by God, I'm here to make sure they do it. It's a powerful moment, especially, focusing on what you're doing, the book, the animation, the entire series that you're developing. It's something beautiful. Now, I'd really like to ask you a bit more about your history. Now, I've noticed you said about music therapy. How exactly did you get involved in music and then also music therapy?
My mom and dad were cranking the cassette tapes in the cars back in the old days, and the classic hits of the 60s and 70s, and even the 50s songs would be playing on the oldies station back east where I grew up and got into high school. And, I guess I liked singing before that and Billy Joel and East Coast kind of stuff. Got in high school, auditioned for a musical, and I mentioned already the impact that my work in theater in high school wound up having on my whole life, and got to college at UMass Amherst, and I wanted to continue to do theater, but I did not have the structure. I did not want the structure at that time. I was already going to class. I did not want to go to rehearsal after. I wanted to hang out in the dorm and make friends and party, and and grunge was coming of age at that time, and Fish was very big coming up then. So I was really into all that stuff. And so I wound up living around a bunch of musicians, and I started singing. And I was, next thing you know, a year or two later, I'm singing in this really interesting kind of like metal jam band. I'm still not sure anybody's fully done that quite yet. Progressive metal jam band. Maybe sure somebody has, but back then it was pretty original. Especially, and by the time that band broke up, I realized I figured out quickly I better start playing guitar and writing songs if I wanted to get in another band, because it's kind of backwards. If you're like, "Hi, I'm a singer, let's start a band," people are like, "Really?" At least it was like that 30 years ago. I don't know how it is now, but so I started playing guitar and writing songs, and now I've written a couple thousand songs. I have 15 records out. It's tough sell music, it is. I mean, that's why I'm trying to do something easier, like animation and book sales and groundbreaking inclusivity work. Some real easy stuff to do. It's all easier than, Spotify takes my music and does whatever they want with it. So I'm happy to be creating music still. My current album came out this year. It's called Engagement, a word you already used in this discussion. And it's songs I wrote when I was about to become a parent, and I was thinking about what that might be like and how I can mentally prepare for something that you can't possibly mentally prepare for. Do my best though. And, that's it. So I have 15 records and written many, many other songs. I did a couple crazy projects called the Operation 365, where I posted 3 videos and a blog every single day for a year on YouTube, 1 original song, a cover song, and a 3rd video. So I'm really into being prolific. It comes naturally to me, and it's been a transition for me into being a business person, and I think I'm getting better and better at it, trying to, do all the things, doing all the things. But I'm a creative at heart, and I can't wait to get back to working with my actors, showing their awesome talents and their amazing perspective, their profound appreciation for life. I think that maybe is, besides authentic representation for the 1.2 billion people, that's like our number one thing. But teaching the next generation of children that everybody's special and wonderful, and, getting to work with the people I met at that job I had all those years ago. We still are working with some of those people. I look forward to doing another audition once we get funded. Worldwideaudition.com. I own. It's nothing yet, but it's waiting because I'd like to reach out.
Great. It's going to be great. I mean,
there's so much to do, and I'm so thrilled and as excited as I was 30 years ago in that first band about being creative and reaching people and making history.
Absolutely.
Now, someone has to do it.
Yes. And when you said that last part, because you said making history, I was going to latch on to that, but you said someone has to do it. All right. This is that moment in 2025. All right. Let's look at it. All right. We've spent so many years in entertainment, hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars. And the goals, they're so unclear, even more so in today's entertainment and educational systems. So it's not somebody's fault. It's not anybody's fault, but collectively, it is our fault. And
it's everybody's fault.
Better. Exactly. and that's the beauty of accountability, right? When you became a father, when I became a father, dude, everything I did was like, oh my God, that moment of profound realization that you are now a steward of others' lives, right?
Yeah.
That never went away from me. When I was in the military, that's what I did. I was the FMF corpsman. And the goal of that is to make sure everybody gets home safe. All right. Yes, some of them are going to come up missing some stuff, legs or arm and things, but we get them home safe. And that's the most passionate thing that I see here, us creating the rapport, this amazing relationship to bring this profound historical moment that Jefferson Jay is creating. Okay. The hunt for the holiday spirit had me so jazzed the moment I was looking at everything that I was like, oh, it's an actual event. I'm going to go. And my wife had to calm me down. She goes, make sure you reread that.
It's not really an event. Just used Eventbrite because that's what ChatGPT told me to do.
That's perfect that you're leveraging, dude. Okay. Yeah. Everybody's shying away from AI right now. I have seen directors, executives, CEOs, leveraging assets and tool creation for things that can really innovate the modalities. That's what we're doing at 8X Entertainment, right? We're changing the methods. We have systems that can integrate the very people that you are dedicated to representing, people like myself, right? I do perform well. Okay. Clearly. All right.
Here we are. I mean, look at it. It's happening.
Straight up. Right. But on my time, when I'm having my moments, last night I had a moment trying to think, how do I best represent Jefferson Jay and his story? How do I best illuminate what he's doing for these children? Because to me, we as fathers, okay, first and foremost, I could definitely speak on that part as being a father. We have a responsibility, and it's profound. It's the sense of doing in the sense of sacrifice, being that servant leader. And when we slow things down and start to observe what we've done in the past and the things we're going to do, that's where I really feel the momentum of what you're creating, right? It's this passion. It's this I'm learning and I'm growing. I've been in this game, like you said, you've been doing it for 30 years. You've been plugging away. And I think that this is that time where the systems and the modalities, the methods of operation kind of coalesce, right? They intersect at that passion and purpose. And when you're good at that, when you find that thing, and for me, it's when I walk the path that Jesus Christ led for me, right? For others, it could be absolutely different, and I 100% support them. But this Christmas season, to me, has always been dedicated to that remembrance of life, right? The honor of life, the blessings, the abundance, right? And the path that's laid before us. We can call it dedicated to or from anybody else. But to me, I think it's more important to say, hey, kids, look, this is for you. Right? Santa Claus, everything. All right. Even Krampus. All right. Like all of this is for you. We want you to understand we love you. We want you to understand that there's opportunity in the world. There's no limitations. The worst person that's going to tell you you're limited is going to be that guy between your ears. All right. Now in that, if we as men can stand up and say, hey kids, here's a bunch of events. Here's a lot of opportunities. Here's something where we can connect a lot of different dots together. Because with 8X Entertainment, the Ranch Foundation, the DBU Ranch, and everything else that we're building out, that's exactly why I'm reaching out to everybody. We're having a party, man, and it's going to be amazing, right? It's called life. And what we want to do is build it together. We want to make sure that when you walk into the room, you feel special. Every room. Because the truth is, you are. Yes, okay, we do it for the show. But here's the best thing that I've been able to do on this show is find that thing that I'm good at, which is helping others, just like yourself, being dedicated to a cause, lifting people up. Even though going through adversity, okay, like,
sure.
Hey, right?
That's okay.
We got to
go through adversity. My heroes have all gone through adversity.
Absolutely. And they do it cheerfully, right?
Or they do it.
They just do it too.
Cheerfully.
That's so true.
Sometimes it's not cheerful, and that's okay. It's adversity. It's not supposed to be cheerful the whole time. But if you can come out the other side, you can come home safe, you're my hero. I look up to people who've walked through the valley of despair and darkness and come out the other side, because that's what I want to do. I mean, that's what I aim to do every day, is to continue to do that and bring the light and rise it up. You know what I mean? There's so much darkness, and it needs to be balanced out, and it takes everybody together to have their ears open and to listen to what everybody has to say. And I think that's maybe the most important part of the Hunt for the Holiday spirit, is to get people an opportunity and then get the other people comfortable seeing and hearing and listening a different perspective of optimism, things that are not on all the shows, profound appreciation, gratitude, happiness. I mean, where's happiness? Not on my Facebook scroll feed.
That's so true.
I don't see it too much. I see a lot of misery and suffering and sorrow. That's why I like LinkedIn more. I run into you, and here we are. We're talking right now. LinkedIn, biggest surprise of 2025 for me. That I love LinkedIn. I wish I figured it out much sooner.
Same here. I can't believe we're actually talking about LinkedIn this way. I'm going to plug their CEO, and I'm going to be like, hey dude, hey, we plugged the crap out of LinkedIn, because let me just tell you what, and it's right. You nailed it on the head. If I would have known, if I would have known and just leveraged it right and actually put myself out there. But this is the reason why I do believe we met for a reason, because we're both at that intersection of life, right? Yeah. So take action. And it comes from a place, you're right, of darkness. But you know what? I've been spelunking by myself for more than 15 years. All right. What I've noticed is that there's so much gold down these caves that I've just ventured down and through and roped down and do the kayaking. And dude, there's so much depth to who and what we are as a human race, a species.
Yeah.
That I believe.
Limitless.
Yes, absolutely. So yes, LinkedIn provides that resource, and I'm going to plug them again, because LinkedIn does provide that resource where we could connect and actually establish a great conversation with people that are doing things. Don't get me wrong. Instagram's great. It's got its place.
It's fine. They're all fine. Whatever,
It's a hard nut to crack. Okay. If you're not physically attractive, it's very difficult to break through. Hey, let me just tell you what, Doc. Me, you, we're good. We're so hot. We got this, right? Blue Steel. There you go. Yeah. Work it. So that's what I mean, though. All of these apps are great, and you have to use it in the right way, and you have to learn the love language of that app. Right? Reaching out, saying, hey man, do some copywriting, work out a chapter of your life where you go, all right, here's the sections, here's my reach out points, right? Structure it. Just like you said about, when you were a young man, you didn't have that structure. And this is where I will repeat: structure, develop, delegate. Okay. You're in that position right now where you're delegating, you're finding your team, you're building
ChatGPT.
Yes.
It's my team.
Hey, you know what? Like I said
Very
earlier,
helpful. LinkedIn. That's my team.
It is. And you know what?
Mm-hmm.
The people that put into that effort, they deserve to be accredited and acknowledged. So one of our other people that I love acknowledging is Podomatic. Okay. Without Podomatic, I would never have been in this space long enough because of the way that, finances work out in the entertainment world. Okay. It's difficult, but that's the reason why I love talking about all these events, these opportunities, meeting you, talking about the hunt for the holiday spirit, right? Talking about
New book.
Jefferson Jay, right? New book. Talking about the play and the animation rather, and the series and everything that you're building up. Yeah, there you go. All of it. So that's even more exciting.
There's one other thing I should at least mention briefly, and thank you again so much for connecting. I think we can both say we welcome everybody to find both of us on LinkedIn and connect there because we're pretty enthusiastic about the vibe over there. People are trying to help each other and not talk about how much better they are than everybody else or how bad everything is. That's what I see on a lot of the other ones. I, under the same Good Vibe banner that I started in 2018, in addition to the Hunt for the Holiday Spirit, I wanted to support another group of folks who I thought was not getting lifted up and respected in the proper manner. Those are the musicians of San Diego. I talked earlier briefly about what a tough game music is. So I launched and founded and currently continue to curate the San Diego Music Hall of Fame. Every year we have an annual event, an actual Eventbrite event that we do. And it'll be, I guess, our 9th year. It started in 2018. So it'll be our 9th year coming up and our 8th event because of the COVID. And it's really done a lot to make the people who play music and love music in San Diego feel like the time and energy and love they've invested in the music of our city is appreciated and has been received. And that, it's been really humbling to start this and have it be so embraced by the local media and by the musicians themselves. And it's been wonderful. The Good Vibe has been a gift to me, between the Hunt for the Holiday Spirit and some of the other programs we host and San Diego Music Hall of Fame. I host open mic weekly here in San Diego to continue to create a place for community to gather and for people to develop their skills and socialize. So it's a great life here in San Diego. And, it's super wonderful to meet you and connect with you. I only have a couple more minutes. As I told you, I'm going to go teach a class to some youngsters at a school and do music therapy with them. And it's very, very meaningful work. I love doing the creative parts of stuff. And this is creative. Conversation and communication is very creative. Entertainment is creative.
Absolutely. Jefferson, I love this conversation so much, but before we go, I want to make sure everybody knows exactly how to get in touch with you, how to support the Hunt for the Holiday Spirit, and definitely any wrap out, you're going to
I'll wrap out. Right. My name's Dada, and I'm here to say I'm going to do it all rad every possible way because my hair may be cool and it also may be gray, but I love you. I love you from my heart today. Dad raps.
Love it. That is dope AF, like the kids say. So,
but I'll tell everybody how to find me though. JeffersonJ.com. There's a bunch of them. TheGoodVibe.com is the umbrella of love for all of my projects. But you can email me at jeffersonjmusic@gmail.com. I have a brand new Patreon, but no patrons yet. If you love what we're talking about, I'd be humbled and honored to have your support. And the new book, The Hunt for the Holiday Spirit, is currently available for pre-sale. Also can be found at thegoodvibe.com. It'll take you right to our Eventbrite link. And I guess that's most of it. Thank you so much for all you do, Joey. I hope to stay in touch, and because we're clearly on the same side, trying to serve the same purpose, which is a beautiful world for everybody, where we all get to participate and belong. Everybody should belong. That should be the minimum standard. And I'll work as hard as I need to get to the minimum standard so we can go much, much higher and much further. And woohoo, and thank you.